Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Seeing our country at 250 years gives me hope with the people standing up. My concern is, and as I watch this happening and everyone celebrating, is that I see these elections that are taking place in real time. You know, the Mondamis, the Virginia governor, Spanberger, and and then what's going on in California and Texas and Maine, just all over the country. And I know that the Democrats are going to cheat, and no one's really addressing the problem that I spent my time in prison as retribution for, and that was exposing the election machines that allow the votes to be flipped. So that's the thing that I really, as we're coming up to our 250-year anniversary, I'm joyful that we still have our liberty, but at the same time, I'm very concerned and burdened with why no one is talking about this.
It's Monday. So Tina was released from prison earlier. They had to make a couple of adjustments just to make sure for security reasons. Again, there was a bunch of people that were outside of the prison, didn't know who was going to be good, who was going to be bad, so they just decided that it was probably best if they just addressed it that way. Tina talked about the party of the people, and I'm joined in the studio with Micah Richardson, who was at the election on Saturday with me for the state chair race, and he's going to sit in with me for this show because this is going to be the defeat on Saturday. I wasn't prepared, and I think one of the things that Tina said is the Democrats are going to cheat. I don't think it matters. I think that the people that are inside the party, in large part, have no interest in the people. And I think that Tina Peters was in jail for over 600 days. And I think President Trump has tried to pass as much as he possibly could. But what you get is you get a bunch of people inside the process that want to serve themselves, don't want to serve the people. It's too risky. And so leading up to the race on Saturday, I kind of want to go through the things that I had to combat. One, you had people within our own party that decided lying about me was just party politics, and that was just okay. You had the hit piece by Victor Marks, you had the hit piece by Kyle Clark. Kyle Clark related to Boebert. And Lauren Boebert decided to go on TV on Friday very, very strategically. And if you guys don't know this, President Trump has come out and said that anyone needs to run around or run against this box of rocks. She's the one that ran away from CD3 and went into a different district because the people in that district felt that she had left them behind long ago. This is the same person that was caught inside of a theater vaping and being groped by some prominent Democrat. Well, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? We have people that go to Washington that say they represent us, And in large part, nothing that we get out the other side, whether we're talking about a Republican state or a Democrat state, seems to favor the people. There is no party of the people. Later on in the show, I'm going to go through and I'm going to just give you I'm going to take you to school. I'm going to bring in a whiteboard and I'm going to show you exactly what I think is happening in our country that is like putting millstones on our chests. It's choking out the very essence of the American people. But I want to go back to Saturday. And just so you know, Craig Steiner, honorable guy. He won't be able to fix the party, but honorable guy. And we are going to lose just as big this year as we did in previous years in Colorado, because I think that's the goal. Lauren Boebert got on TV and with Kyle Clark, and she said that the state party's irrelevant. We just need to make the county parties healthy. What that tells you is that they don't want a healthy party. And of course, you had what happened on Saturday. I'm going to let Micah tell you what happened. I know that we have Mark that's going to be joining us as well. Let's bring Micah onto the thing, but let me just go through and just finish my thought on this. We have already found the fraud. We have found the fraud. We have found the fraudsters. We have found all the pieces related to what they did to the American people. We found it all. We've had it all for 5 years. And stolen elections were not just done by the Democrats, they were also perpetrated by the Republicans. I want to take you back to 2004 when Clinton Curtis testified in front of Congress, and he was commissioned inside of a Chinese company that was later found to be engaged in a series of acts of espionage. Same company, but was asked to create a system an election system that could hide votes and change the outcome of an election by Congressman Feely. Congressman Feely was a congressman out of Florida, and he was a Republican. Now keep in mind that Dominion Voting Systems was brought to Colorado by Scott Gessler, Wayne Williams. I mean, I can go down the line. These are all Republicans. The attacks against Tina Peters happened because of Matt Crane, Republican. And I could keep going. I could build you a list as long as my arm. Yeah, Phil Anschutz calls himself a conservative, buys up a newspaper, controls and picks candidates. You could talk about Ken Theory and bringing in, he was the CEO of what is it, the dialysis company, DaVita.
DaVita.
He gets to pick and choose winners and losers. And it doesn't matter because our taxes have tripled in the last 3 years, 4 years, tripled. Not doubled, tripled. Our property taxes has gone up by triple. Any relief we get from the federal government, the state swooped in and says, not only do you do not get the benefit of those state benefits of reducing your taxes, but we as a state are going to suck those up. There are cameras on every corner. Schools have dictated that as a parent, that you don't get to dictate the sex of your child. This all happens, by the way, in a free society. And we think it's the Democrats doing it when it's not. It's a one-party system. It's not a uniparty system. It's a system of chaos that is designed to favor really stupid people. And I think about the last 6 years that I spent fighting. And it's a waste of my time. I find it's a colossal waste of my time. Saturday, I was not prepared for what went down. I wasn't prepared for the number of volunteers, blue badges as we call them, guests, that had proxy votes around their neck. I think I counted almost 30, 29, 30. These are 30 non-voting members. 30 non-voting members sat in the back. In one, there was a whole row of them. And I looked at someone there and I said, Micah, what I said, this will not go the way we want it to go. 58% of the vote was proxy votes. Over 25, I can safely say that, had 5 votes, proxy votes, around their neck. 5 proxy votes around their neck. 5?
Unequivocally.
So 5 votes, 125 proxy votes concentrated in 25 people who are non-voting members. Non-voting. These are people from the community. They said, hey, I want you to go up there with us. You have to vote for these 5 people. And they did what was equivalent to ballot harvesting, but they did it in order to affect the outcome of the vote. How does that make you feel? If you're in Colorado, how does that make you feel? Like, I knew right away, and you said it.
I started calling about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I didn't say it to you until about 1:30.
But you knew that I knew.
I knew that you knew. I saw it in your face in the morning.
I was standing outside credentialing for 400 people. It took 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours to credential 400 people. Now, I will tell you that the volunteers there that were manning it, there were many of them that I knew well. The entire Keller committee was made up of people who diabolically opposed me. There wasn't one person that was on the Teller committee that was allowed to be on the Teller committee that was in my corner. And I know because Eric tried to get on the Teller committee to help out, and they said, no, we don't need your help. They only allowed people that they wanted on the Teller committee to be on the Teller committee. So I've fought for the last 6 years straight through. I've been slandered. I've been kicked. I've been sued. And I showed up there, and we had these straw polls.
Can we set the tone on that for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think context matters because people will jump to conclusions and draw their own whatnots. We have a podcast, Daily Carry.
Yeah.
We invite everybody running essentially for office, gubernatorial, Senate, some local people, sheriff, whatnot. Come on, we have great sit-downs with everybody. Just the initial get to know the candidate interview. Joe was one of our interviews when you'd originally announced that you were running for governor. This is the first time Joe and I meet. So before anybody starts drawing links of you're doing this or you're doing that, I just want to set the tone. That's number one. Number two, over a period of several months, there's 3 different Q&As. There's one in Boulder, I believe one in Longmont, El Paso County area, where you went and you did essentially a forum, a debate with the other candidates for the GOP chair.
Right.
In each of those, I attended. The walkaway was Joe 70 to 75, 80% north of the second closest vote.
Right.
Every single time. Craig Steiner, I agree, nice guy, super nice guy. Met him a handful of times, very nice guy. Craig was in the bottom 1 or 2 in every count. Fast forward to Saturday, Craig sweeps this thing out of nowhere. Out of nowhere.
I don't think it was out of nowhere. I think it was planned.
No, I mean by observation.
McCracken got 76 votes. He got 76 votes. He received 2 votes in all of the forums combined.
That's correct. That's what I'm getting at. So I say out of nowhere, here comes a guy. I mean, he got the nod, but there's reasons why. And I started watching it unfold, like I said, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Different whispers in people's ears. And I'm a bystander. All I'm doing is standing back and watching. Craig is the same guy who chaired the GOP previously.
Douglas County
GOP. What launched out of that was the greatest, what I like to call Charlie Foxtrot I've seen in the 26 years I've lived out of here. Douglas County GOP is a disaster, and it has been a disaster. The school board is a disaster. Everything down there is a disaster when it comes to politics. And he was in it, and he watched it breed itself. At that time frame is when everything went awry, and we just put a guy back into now the state chair who had a chance to run the Douglas County chair, and everything fell apart down there.
You know, I don't, like I said before, I think he's an honorable man.
He's a good guy.
And But let's be honest. I've been losing for the last 6 years. I put it in perspective, actually. And it's, you know, and maybe this is just me looking at it from the perspective of that I'm playing in the devil's playground. And I mean, you got somebody that was in my campaign. Her name's Darcy Schoening. Schoening? I say that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Who I had to separate from, right? And I didn't do it fast enough. I should have done it sooner. And this is the person that's now getting online and saying that I'm a bad guy. The stuff that I know about her just in the last 10 days, frankly, is disturbing. And I'm just waiting for somebody to poke the bear on me for that. Who I felt maybe was a part of it to do the things that she was able to do. And I was like, I see the eternal good in people. It's probably my biggest weakness. I think I'll probably see a lot less of the eternal good in people after I've just, this culmination, this aha moment. But then you start looking at the other people inside of this race, and the fact that they feel they can sleep well at night, saying and doing the things they do inside the party, and then to see this happen in the party. McCracken got 76 votes. How? And it was planned. Like, there was so much planning that went into this that I look at it and go, well, Boebert goes on TV Friday to slander me over comments that I never made. I never said that I wanted to execute the governor. I didn't say that. I said they should be tried for treason, and when found guilty, they should hang by their neck by death till dead, because it's in our Constitution. But they have run so far with this that now I'm the diabolical maniac that wants to go kill people. I mean, think about that. Think about the outcome of being able to work 6 years to destroy a single person. And that's what's happened.
They've been doing it to Trump from day one.
Yeah, but I'm not Trump.
I understand that.
Right? And I'm not,
Same
the
methodology.
reality is the only win that I got over 6 years was getting President Trump elected. That's it. That's the only win. That's the only win. Across the board, that's the only win. The only win. I mean, short of that, couldn't sell my company. I've been defamed. I've been attacked. My wife's been attacked. My wife had to step away from her companies. I had to sell off my companies. I have to deal with the $160,000 in fees, protecting a guy on Antifa, only to have him go to court and take away my attorneys and say that you still have to have, it's not our obligation to make sure you have an attorney after telling them that my attorneys can't actually represent me. I mean, it just never ends. Finding probable falsity while also arguing the other side that the call didn't exist, and then admitting the call exists by dealing an affidavit, then saying, I pinky swear I'm not on the call. Having the only people to be on the November 3rd, the day before the election, on November 4th, or November 2nd, excuse me, November 2nd, a day before the election. All these radicals are on the thing with Chris Krebs. Coomer's on it. He's visually not a part of anything. Been there throughout all of Sequoia Smartmatic days. He's a nuclear engineer that writes about PID controllers and nuclear decay models, energy decay models, which would actually be something you would use if you tried to get a fixed outcome. All that stuff, right? And I still came out the other side as Joe's full of shit, and this diabolical is telling the truth.
I think people don't understand. You've talked about this a lot. I've seen so much from the outside in. But do you think people just don't understand, Joe? I mean, truly don't understand what goes into the process in the Dominion thing and exactly what happened with Coomer?
I think there's just a lot of stupid people. And I think that it's so diabolical, and the CIA has their playbook. They've been running this playbook for as long as there's been time, right? Seek, destroy, wrap up smears, seek, destroy, repeat it over and over again, use the media to people. That's what I think. And I think that there's not another person in the entire country, sans President Trump, that has stood as firm and as focused as I have for 6 years. And I have all the battle wounds to prove it.
Well, here's what I know. I watched Saturday. I watched the previous events.
I'm not bitter at all, by the way.
I sat, hey, look, I have been impartial. I sat in the middle of I've taken my punches in many directions for befriending you or going down and interviewing Victor Marx, and everybody wants to jump on somebody over something. What astonishes me, and part of the reason I was more than happy to sit down and talk about this stuff today, when President Trump came out and said the election was stolen, and everybody jumped on the bandwagon and said, yeah, you're full of crap, it's a conspiracy theory, you're just nuts. And then I've listened to him say it about you. We have a woman that went to jail here for finding fraud, who was just released today, trying to expose the truth. And everybody wants to lynch this 71-year-old gal out in the middle of the square. I cannot begin to wrap my head around the whys of why people will not dig into this stuff and figure it out. It's almost like you're just handing away your freedoms and your democracy. Astonishing isn't strong enough a word, and I'm not going to start dropping F-bombs, but I will tell you, Joe,
I apologize.
It irritates me. It irritates me beyond measure because
everybody wants to get me mad at me for that. But
everybody wants something for free, though,
Yeah.
and everybody wants somebody else to do the work. So I'm sitting next to a guy right now. Here's what I will tell you about Joe, the Joe that I've learned to know. I've sat in a car with him for 6, 7, 8 hours, going from event to event to event. I'm watching him, listening to him, the conversations that he's having with people. Here's what people do. They call up and they go, hey, Joe, I need a hand on something. First thing Joe says, how can I help you? With zero embellishment, I think in one car ride, I counted 5 different phone calls where Joe said, how can I help? What do you need? I'm here for you. Over and over and over and over. I've been watching this happen for months. I got a buddy of mine who, it's his story to tell. I'm not going to share it all, but first thing Joe said, what can I do for you? He's been up here 2-3 times now.
Yeah, I think we got the problem mostly solved.
And he had no reason to do anything. He's not doing a handout. It's not a buddy of a buddy. It's not a favorite. It's the heart of the man. Is he impassioned? He is. Is he salty? Yeah. Does he say things in a way I wouldn't always say him? Yeah. But here's what I will say. I would rather have one of him than 50 or 100 or 500 people telling me how important I am and blowing sunshine up my butt, playing me one side to the other. I've been on the other side of these things, and this stuff pisses me off. So I'm glad Tina Peters is out of jail right now. There's a lot of work to be done, but at the end of the day, the Colorado chair, and it's not because Craig Steiner's not a nice guy. I'll say it again, Craig, you're a nice guy. I just don't think you have the backbone for the job, and I don't think you're going to raise the money. That's just my take. But how it transpired,
Well, I got a phone call that said, "Can you give us a donors?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "Why? You don't want to help the party?" I was like, after what I went through on Saturday,
Yeah.
there's 100 different ways that they could have gone to me differently and said, "Hey, look, this is what we want."
But you don't go to 3 events, Joe, and garner 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes where you're knocking down 35 and 40 in every event, and then come to the chair, and all of a sudden you're the front runner. No, nobody even heard your message. I sat there and watched. I was impartial. I listened. I put my truck videos out on these things. I said, hey, here's my observation. I got no dog in this fight. I'm watching this thing. Other than I'm a Colorado resident, I want the best for the party. And it just drove me crazy sitting there because, like I said, right around 9:30, 10, I started watching the games getting played. And then I'm watching these people walk around with all these proxy badges. And I will say this, I don't think that I don't think there was anything illegitimate in the count as far as like malfeasance up on the table. I think the counts were legitimate.
I think
it's how they got there was illegitimate. That's what bothered me.
And they're like, oh yeah, next thing they're going to say is the stolen election. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. There has to be, in my opinion, there has to be integrity in how we do things, right? There has to be, the people's voice has to be heard. That's what the whole system is designed to do, right? And that's not what happened.
Yeah, but this isn't.
That's not what happened.
This isn't. I'm going to make sure. This is not a sore loser thing.
I don't.
This was a. I watched it. I was one guy sitting there watching 409 people, and I'm telling you, I watched from different vantage points.
Well, there's only 173 or 83 that were there.
Yeah, well, 409 votes.
Yeah, 58% were proxy votes.
Votes.
Yeah.
So apologies. Let me correct that. 409 votes. But I watched these people milling around, and I watched what was going on. I watch the games at play, and I've been around this long enough, and I've seen enough of this stuff. I've seen it down in the Douglas County GOP. We have one person down there's run for every office there is, I think, and it's just one of the most vile people I've ever met in my life. That person was on Craig Steiner's watch and never got reined in. And that's the kind of problem that we have. That's why people don't like Republicans. They don't like the GOP. The infighting, the cheating, all the stuff that goes on.
Today
It's ridiculous.
I go, you're just not going to be able to fix it because nobody has an appetite for it. We have Mark Cook that's on here with us. I just want to bring him in because maybe he can shed some light in this and we can get back into this, because I do want to make sure that I go through this modeling too, that I think is super important. But Mark, welcome to the show, bro.
Howdy. Good to be here.
How you been, man? Where are you at?
I'm in Connecticut. Getting ready to actually head to Rhode Island here a little bit later today. Yeah.
Is this your first time meeting
Yeah,
Micah?
I've watched many times.
Mark?
Good to see you, Mark.
Micah.
Me too. Me too.
Well, you got to hear a little bit about what I had to say.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The whole thing's rigged from top to bottom, and we see that all the time. But at least, hey, we're exposing it all. That's good. By the way, you said it, that fight you've been in for 6 years is not worth your time, Joe. You have educated so many people. You have opened so many people's eyes. You have given so many people such encouragement. And your passion did all that. And you kept people in the fight. So it was not for nothing. And we still have a long way to go. We just got a little bit of a good win today. We've got one of our prisoners freed from the cage that these communists have put her in. And I think we're just reaching the top part of this mountain we've all been climbing up. Imagine you're in a semi-truck. It's got an icy hill, and we're cruising up this mountain. We're almost to the top. This is not when we take our foot off the gas, because that's when we slide back and crash. So what we need to do is keep our foot steady on the gas, because we are just going to round this here pretty soon. You're a systems person. This is just work determining how the system works. And the system is nasty, and it screws all of us. The parties are all corrupt. Our government's corrupt. Federal government, state government, local, all of it. But we know exactly what we need to do to fix it.
Yeah.
Which is run our own elections. Yeah, as soon as we run our own elections, we're good. And there have been a lot of people that need to remove their head from their butt. I'll use different words than you did, but I get what you're saying. We got this, man. We got it.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, man, I've never been more in a place where I'm getting off the bus than I am right now. I feel completely. It's hard when your own party attacks you the way they attacked me. I mean,
they're not your party though.
Yeah, I mean,
they are a facade of a party.
You got Lauren Boebert, and you got the Gabe Evans crew, and you got people that smile to my face and then say shit behind the thing. And look, I'm just. It was hard to swallow. You saw me on Saturday night. Like I did. I said I wouldn't have a drink till Tina got out. I broke that. I had a drink. I had a drink Saturday night because.
You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait 2 days.
Man, I was not, and I didn't even care at that point, right? I mean, it's the. Let me just tell you what goes through your mind. Like it's the idea that the sacrifice and the things that I have sacrificed, which I find to be offensively enormous. And to have hit piece after there was 3 hit pieces put out to me the week before the vote, of which I got in an argument with one of the guys over because they wanted to distance themselves from me at one of the places that I gave a bunch of money to and still continue to give money to. Then we have a hit piece, which was put together by Bill Owens, the ex-governor, Bill Owens. So Bill Owens of Colorado and Sean Tonner put together this deal to go after me and went to the gay tranny guy Sean Beadle to write a hit piece. So they use the same tools. They use the same radical leftist in order to get stuff done. I mean, it's
deception. Yeah, all of it.
And they have great relationships with them. So they go and, hey, I got a great story for you. I need you to destroy this guy. And they're like, oh, yeah, I want it.
They've built this system for decades.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't happen by accident.
And you got Phil Anschutz. He sits on his little perch. I said, hey, I want to meet with you. He's like, yeah, no, I think I've neutralized Mr. Oltmann. And you knew what was happening. You knew it was happening.
They're sick people. They're sick, disgusting people. They're tyrants, and they think this whole thing belongs to them. They have no idea, and they don't even care. They really look at us as peasants, gum on the bottom of their shoe.
Well, then I'm the biggest useful idiot of the last 6 years in the history of America, I think.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. We're all part of this. But remember how many of us there are, Joe. Right? Yeah. There are hundreds of millions of us, and there's only a couple thousand of these crazy a-holes that are doing all this and that have been doing this behind our backs for decades. They've been doing this since the 70s or earlier. They've been doing this. So literally, we just got in the game about 6 years ago. I think we've come a long way in figuring this out. And once we wake up the rest of the citizens, which we are going to do, and you are going to do, because God has put you through everything He's put you through to create what I'm looking at right here, which is someone that is incredibly intelligent, articulate, very unfiltered at times, but someone that understands how systems work and that can take a lick and keep on kicking. So that you're gonna keep going with it, because we're all going to
I'll keep ticking. It doesn't mean that I'll stay on the. There's way too much betrayal, Mark, and I guess I'm setting it up.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to have you on. The amount of betrayal and the amount of that people have taken from me. I mean, literally taken from me, and it's my fault. People call me and say I need money. I'm like, okay. They call me and say they need help raising this or doing that. Or you're right. I probably, Micah, do way too much.
Well, I will say. Mark, have you ever watched Royce White? You caught on to this guy at all? He's running for senator in Minnesota. You got to check him out. So he basically said something the other day I've been saying for about a year. It's going to come down to we're going to see 2, maybe 3 parties, and it's not going to be Republican, Democrat anymore. It's going to be patriots, and it's going to be socialists, communists.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's exactly what it is now.
Crushing it in Minnesota right now. Everybody should be paying attention to him.
Yep, that's exactly where we're at. I mean, the parties are gone. The parties were infiltrated. Democrats were infiltrated many, many years ago. That was back when I was a Democrat. That party got totally taken over. I switched parties because I thought that's where I would fit. I didn't realize that that Democrats got taken over, and then of course the Republican Party got taken over too, because that's what communists do, because they know the parties control the candidates, and if you control the parties, you control the candidates. It's just another way to control the pieces on the board. So of course they took the parties over, and rightfully so if they're communist. So it's patriots versus communists. That's what it is. I called this out a couple years ago when I saw the signs. I said, holy crap, this is communism. These are the communists coming after us, and they've embedded themselves in the minds of a lot of Americans. And they don't even know they're communists. That's the biggest dangers. They have no clue that they're communists, yet they are. And they are fighting to destroy the very nation that they live in, and they don't even realize it. And so back to your comment that a lot of people are stupid, Joe. Yeah, you're right. And we got to make them much smarter, because they don't understand what they're doing. They have no clue. But there are a lot of smart Americans out there. They just feel helpless. They need leaders. They need leaders that can encourage them and give them some internal strength and some guidance.
Lead from where? I mean, I was having this conversation earlier about the American Party, and that Elon Musk needs to set up the American Party. I mean, just have the American Party, and we'll do that same thing. There's so many people. You talk about people being left behind, and the Democrats and the Republicans. That I wanted, and my goal was really to hijack, and I've said this, Wreck-It Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph, the Republican Party. Make it the party of the people. Go into Denver, go into Aurora, go into the rural communities, speak for the farmers, make people that actually go into office be forced to go back and have town halls and hear from the people how they are or not fulfilling their promises. strip people who get straight Fs across the board on representing the people, strip them out of office, take away their R, right? Make them have to fight for them from an independent deal and then put another candidate on top of them. Use sticks and carrots to actually help the people, right?
What's stopping you? You can still go out and talk to people. You can still do all this. You just don't have to do it under, communist GOP.
All right. So here's what stops me from doing it. I think the only candidate that can lead the party, lead the state on the governor's side is Scott Bottoms. He's a Republican.
Yeah.
There are some good people that are inside of offices that I think deserve to get a fighting chance. Now, I don't believe that any of them will win. I don't believe that Mark Baisley will win because, frankly, he doesn't have the money behind him and nobody has an appetite for him. I think the only person that is being wooed by the Democrats is Barb Kirkmeyer. She's on every stage. Scott's being pushed out, sitting with Weiser and Bennett on a stage and leaving even, Victor Marx is a non-issue as far as I'm concerned, but the game's fixed. The game is fixed by people who, frankly, are the haves versus the have-nots. They're the haves, right?
Yeah. So just all we have to do, reach people's hearts, and maybe Victor can retool you. I know it's been a rough couple of days. Too soon? Too early? Okay. All right. Victor's all right. Hey, Micah laughed. There we go. So listen, we
were just talking about this. He got retooled, by the way. I just want everybody to know.
Who got retooled?
Micah has been retooled.
You're kidding me.
No, he did. He got tooled.
Oh, crap.
Sorry,
man.
No.
I think there's...
Hang on. I'm going to release... So I make these little things called truck videos. Mark, I've been doing them for years. The inside of my Jeep, my truck, whatever. I throw a 2, 3, 4 minute video out.
They're semi-gay, but we let gay people be a part of our deal, so it's good.
They're epic.
They are actually epic. They're good.
They're fun. And look, so I did a part 1 and a part 2. I've been, I said this earlier, I've been right down the middle. And I don't mean down the middle as I'm not choosing where I'm laying. You can't fall off both sides of the fence at the same time. You just can't. When I say down the middle, I mean as far as...
He racked himself.
As far as how I treat people. I'm much like Joe. I believe in a big heart, and I sometimes I overextend and I give too much. But at the end of the day, we've had every gubernatorial Senate, just about every candidate we could get on to our podcast on, and they were all great. They were all nice. Everybody was great. That was a get to know you crowd. I said this earlier in the podcast. I'm repeating it back to you. We did a second podcast with Victor. Victor was the first one of the 3 gubernatorial candidates that are going to move forth. Barb, Scott, Victor. Victor was the first one. He invited us down to his place. We spent 5 hours with the guy. They were kind, they were nice, they were inviting, they were warm, they were welcoming. There were a couple little one-off moments that I'm not going to share on this podcast because I'm going to put it out on my truck video. But I am going to say I did do a retooling prayer. I know everybody and their brother wants to hear about it. I will, in my own way, share because I want people to understand exactly what is being done out there. But I'm going to be very intentional about it. I'm going to be very fair about it. I will never be unfair to somebody, but I absolutely unequivocally am going to tell the truth. And there's some people who ain't going to like it. They ain't going to like it, Mark.
Yep.
And this is, by the way, post retooling. So I just want to be very clear that a lot of things could be happening. I'm just messing with you.
It's all good.
He gave me the stink eye look. Like,
It's all
like,
good.
don't give me that stink eye look. Retooler. No, Micah and I over the last couple of months have built a strong friendship, and frankly, I don't have to. He doesn't. He agreed. Watch the truck. We'll probably play it on the video. We'll probably play it. Yeah,
we'll have it out at some point.
But I will say this: Micah did a. Can I at least talk about the Glocks in the overseas?
Sure, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
What's your gun?
It's
of choice when you're overseas.
Look, that's a podcast that's aired, so you can talk about it all you want.
Okay, all right. So listen, Victor Marx, Mark.
It was funny.
He's asked the question like, "What's your go-to?" Right? Victor Marx' go-to for personal defense, and he said, "Well, either here or overseas or something like that."
He says it's easier to get, as you know, it's easier to get Glocks overseas, and he was talking about at the time, I believe, Haiti. And I just thought
you can't get Glocks overseas.
I just thought to myself that was actually really funny.
And he did not say, but
something
Haiti
Turkish.
is not overseas. It's not. Here's what you get when you're overseas. It's Turkish,
Yep.
almost unequivocally Turkish, right? You have some Russian guns in there. You got some German stuff that's in there.
It's going to be Turkish.
You know what you don't have? Glocks.
Lux,
There are no
are you
Glocks.
saying that Victor was
He
lying?
said command, so he's not talking about Haiti. Because, by the way, you're not getting guns in Haiti.
He tried.
Joe, I think you're insinuating that Victor may have lied for the first time ever.
I may be insinuating that the guy literally does not know what the truth is. And then he sat down for an interview and said, well, how many people did you kill? And he couldn't answer the question. He's bragged about killing people.
No, yeah, he's a
And
joke.
here's the man whose entire persona is about killing people. Anyway, Mike has got to do his own trucker video on this one because on his side. But when he said Glocks overseas, I was like,
Yeah.
that's what caught me. As a guy that worked overseas in the Middle East and Africa, right, in places
Got
where
it.
you'd have combat areas, you're not going to find a Glock. it's not going to happen. Like the
What
Trump.
got me originally was the whole not even wanting to have a discussion about what happened to Tina Peters or talk about election fraud. That was number one. And I thought, wait, you mean a Republican front runner governor not wanting to talk about any of this stuff? That's right there. That was my litmus test. And then, of course, he just got more entertaining as time went on. And then, of course, the most fun is cutting off a cat's head at 3 years old, severing the head off and then wearing the carcass as he was tied to a bed, at 3 years old and vivid memory. I mean, the guy is, I guess I have a good eye, but I kind of knew right away the guy's full of shit. But he's going to be a fun one to expose, for sure. And I have no problem doing it. The whole thing's rigged. He was clearly put in place to make a fool of Republicans, and they intended to make a fool of Republicans leading up to the election, to the midterms.
And
But unfortunately,
he's not
he got a
gonna
little
do the
caught
debate.
early.
And now he's not going to do the
course
debate
not.
with Kyle Clark, right?
No,
As
of course not.
tomorrow?
Is that?
Well, he did. So he did. He put out.
a questionnaire, right? of some
Yeah,
sort?
he basically did a crowdfunding type Q&A. Should I debate? And I think it was something like 92% of his following, his constituents. He said, "Yeah, you should debate." So if he pulls out of this one, I'd say he's done.
He's done anyway.
Yeah, but this is a death knell in the coffin if you do that. He's the guy running around saying, "I told you I would debate." The first thing he said after Candace, and I couldn't believe it. Look, Victor, I really wanted to like you. I really, really did. I swear I did. I thought maybe you're different. Maybe this is what the party needs. It needs some rejuvenation.
Yeah.
It just floored me when he came out when the Candace interview was over and he said, "See, I told you I would debate somebody." I'm like, that's not a debate.
He's
That's not. You're not
No,
sitting
that
there
was a slaughter.
debating.
That was a total.
It's not a
it was like
debate at all, though,
exposure.
Mark. You're not sitting next to another candidate having somebody ask both of you questions. You have somebody interviewing you.
No, the
That's
guy's
not
not
a
very
debate.
smart. He's an idiot. He's a total moron. He's not the brains behind any of this. His people are. That's why he keeps saying we, because other people are putting him up to this. He's a tool. He's a tool that tools. He's a tool.
He's a tool that retools.
Retools.
Yes, he retools.
But here's the thing that I can say. He drives people to a place where they want to hurt him.
Well, he's crazy. He's a psychopath. So sometimes that makes people uncomfortable to be around psychopaths. I get that.
No. I'm talking about his brother-in-law, right? So his wife's brother.
I can't keep up with it.
All right, so tried to kill him, supposedly shoot him, right?
Yeah.
And then his
He's a victim.
family members. Look, I just got a phone call from one of his family members that hopefully doesn't remain nameless, but they may come out. And they said, "Hey, Mr. Oltmann, I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you that Victor had a very good childhood." And I went, "Who are you again?" And they're like, "Yeah, we put up with this for years, like this persona."
He's a con artist completely. And he's definitely not doing this alone. He's got people behind him, and they've been using him
People
for
are getting mad at
decades.
me for saying this. Like, Joe,
Yeah, they've been using him for decades. Look at what else he's done. Look at the positions he's been put in. Look at Look at his network. Identify his network, and you'll know exactly what it all ties into.
Mark, I go back to law enforcement days, I've worked my share of stuff, including many homicides, both on the medic side, the law enforcement side, the ER side back in the day. People get brought in. I mean, you see a lot. And I sat down and I watched the Candace interview. And I don't go far with this. I don't want to rabbit trail, but I'm really hemmed up on something. And Candace was hemmed up on it. And despite what the world thinks about Candace right now and all the stuff that's going on, she made one point that I couldn't get past. And then I listened to it and I definitely couldn't get past it. So I called a buddy of mine who's a coroner. He's done like 2,200 autopsies. And I said, what would it take to have a 3-year-old have the physical capability to be able to cut off a cat's head? 1, understanding what you're doing. 2, the strength to do it. 3, to be able to hold it. And 4, to be able to get through the vertebrae of a cat. And he said, impossible. Unequivocally impossible. He goes, do you know what kind of saws we use to cut through human bone? What kind of knife did he use? The first question he asked, what kind of knife? I said, I don't know. Victor didn't say. But like, that whole thing is just disturbing to me. Because if that's something that you're standing on as truth, and that thing ends up being a fallacy, and I think it is, then everything is a wash.
It's
Everything
totally
is
it's totally a
just
lie.
garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't see a 3-year-old child sitting there doing that.
A 3-year-old child does not have enough
Wouldn't have the
muscle
capability.
strength to do it. Absolutely.
I mean, look, I was strong as an ox at 3.
No, you weren't.
Semi-retarded. Yes, I was. I could have cut a cat's head off.
You could not have.
But I love
No.
cats.
With
so
a
I
bone
wouldn't-
saw, maybe.
so I wouldn't cut a cat's head off because I like cats. People were like, you don't like cats? Yeah, I like cats. I like cats. I like dogs. Dogs like me.
I just want to go on the record and say I'm with Candace on that one. I just don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Now, I will say
No,
this,
it's
Mark.
a total lie.
It is, but I
How do you
can't
pick
prove that it is.
How
I
do
just
you
think
pick
it's crazy.
that as the lie, though? I mean, let's be honest.
Because he is a crazy psychopath. Okay?
So you wake up in the morning, you're like this. I have the perfect story. You roll over to your wife and you're like, look, we're going to tell the world that I killed a cat at 3 years old, and then I wore it around like a toupee, and then I walked around like Goodwill Hunting.
Who is going to ask someone that they feel has been through childhood trauma to actually prove their childhood trauma? No one's going to ask it. So that's why it's the perfect lie.
That's where I wanted to go. I'm going to defend Victor Marx right now to Istanbul and back if I've got to. Nobody gets to question whether a child has been traumatized at an early age and abused at an early age. And I'll say that as somebody who went through it. It took me until age 30-something before I came out and told my wife about it. Sodomy, 2 years, happened in the church, small town Kentucky. Nobody gets to come back and beat the crap out of me for that. What I would never do is make up stories and then stand on them. And that one is did he kill a guy at age 7? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that one's true. But age 3, as a medic, somebody who's been through their share of working scenes, I can just tell you, I've never seen or heard of anything like that. And I don't think a child has physical strength to do something like that, much less the comprehension of what they're doing, much less the ability to get through a bone. And what kind of knife was it? Like, that really bothered me. You made me do it. What do you hand you? A pocket knife? A foldable? A bone saw? Like, it makes no sense. I'm sorry, it just makes no sense.
Of course, because it doesn't make sense, because it's ridiculous. Because it's a ridiculous lie. That's why it does not make sense. In addition to all the other lies that man has told, and he is, think of how much money he's taken from people. Think how much damage he's done to people over these years, these decades, with all of these lies.
Well, it's not.
I can't wait till people dig into him.
It's not just the money he took; it's the money he took from others.
Yeah, that could have been used for good.
Yeah, and the fact that he subverted that and aided himself. This is the hardest part about the entire political spectrum that I have problems with. And you could say whatever you want about President Trump, right? I just told you the only thing over 6 years that I felt like I've won is that President Trump was elected in November of 2024. I credit a lot of things, including Elon Musk. I pray that President Trump could realize that Elon Musk was largely behind that. Now, whether or not he did it or somebody else did it, and they stopped the manipulation of the election enough to be able to make sure that he didn't get, they didn't do the same thing they did in 2020, right? But President Trump is still not taking the salary. And you could say, well, he makes his money because he's worth billions of dollars and they set up all this stuff. He's done things honorably. And he's never asked for anybody's Like when he had the guy on the side of the road, then he met a guy and he decided I was going to pay off his house. He didn't do any of that and go out to the media and say, hey, this is what I did. He did all of that behind the scenes, right? And I just think that, I don't agree with what he said things about Candace Owens. Mm-hmm. But then again, I don't, Victor Marx equates himself to be like President Trump. President Trump has never stepped on the face of anyone in order to be successful. I don't believe that he has. I believe he's a shrewd businessman, but I don't believe that he's like slit the throat of someone around him just so he can get ahead. I just don't believe it. You think differently?
No, I don't think differently. I'm listening.
Yeah. And Victor Marx he'd literally kill his own. He's proven he'd abuse his children and do all the other stuff that he's done. Regardless, he has no loyalty at all.
He's a tool. He's an operator. That's who Victor Marx is. He didn't do this on his own. He's not smart enough. He's working for people.
I would like to.
No question.
I would like to hear him say at this juncture, because this is the first time I've spoken out to where people will perceive the negative. I've always been right down the middle mark, but I finally, as of Saturday, enough was enough for me. I was tired of listening to it. Look, there was a kid at the chair that got up. They had like 1 little minute stump speeches. Mm-hmm. Kid got up and he said, hey, I'm here to represent Victor Marx. And there were people in the room that booed and grumbled. I mean, like, there's not this following out there, I think, that people have. There's people that believe in him for sure, but there's not this. It's going to be a decimation.
People want a hero.
They do.
People want
and
a
I
hero,
understand.
and he
and
portrayed himself as a hero.
Yeah, of course.
Hey,
yeah.
I was one. I was not the hero that they wanted at the time, but I was definitely one they needed. And
I'll agree with that.
They decided to cheat the system. And
Joe, I even had people tell me that they hate you, but they want you to win because you're the only one that can clean it up.
But people hate me because of the same reasons that I just said.
Well,
they don't even know me. They know nothing about me.
Well, they hear you with an unfiltered comment, and then of course they take it to mean much worse than it does, and of course that's helped by those that are looking to manipulate people's perception of you. So yeah, they fall for a lot of stuff because they don't listen to you long enough. They'd sit and listen to you long enough, they'd realize you're more than a soundbite. But they love those sound bites.
I'd echo that. I think that's the problem, and that's what Trump did. Look, in the room the other day, they said, stand up if you voted for Trump. Everybody in the room stood up, every single person. Well, Trump is salty, he's edgy, he said all sorts of things, right? Mm-hmm. But he's getting stuff done. I just really, again, I struggle with the whole story, the embellishment, the exploits. I've kind of hit my wall on it. I've been able to vet and dig into some things. The one thing that I want to hear Victor say is if he loses, that all of the money that he raised, he's going to donate to a worthy cause, not to himself.
It'll go to a worthy cause.
I want to hear Samaritan's Purse. I want to hear something. I want to hear something good.
It's already been given away. He already spent it. Go look at his expenditures.
Yeah.
And look who he spent the money on. Look where the money went. And look how much of it's Smurf transactions also.
Then the same thing is going to happen in this. Is this all a setup for Barb Kirkmeyer?
I do believe that, hey, I don't know Barb. I have offered to Barb. I've asked Barb if she'd sit down with me, even remotely, so I can go over, what's going on in our elections. Make sure, obviously, if she's running for governor, she'd probably want to know how elections are rigged so she can protect herself from it. But she has not yet reached out. And I will say this on a side note, if someone wasn't worried about winning or losing and they were just in it for the game, they probably wouldn't take the time to have the discussion. And I hope that's not the case, but here's one strategy I think.
I don't think Barb's a bad person. Obviously, Scott's my guy, right? I mean, I'll tell you right now, Scott's my guy.
I don't think Barb is either. I don't know her. I would love to talk to her, but I do think that people that are pulling all the strings in this, one of the strategies that I would have employed if I was a bad guy is I would have absolutely thrown in a candidate like Victor Marx, propped him up, manufactured the perception that he's the guy, have everyone get behind him, which would have choked everyone else in the room, sucked all the air out of the room for the other candidates. then I would have known he had all these skeletons. So then I would have handed all those skeletons to those, the crazies on the left, will say, which, by the way, notice they were silent on all that. Notice they did not go and attack Victor Marx at all. It was actually people that on the conservative side that were exposing him. And if he was a legitimate, real Republican candidate, they would have torn him a new, they would have torn it, right? They didn't. So because they left him alone, I know exactly what they were doing. They were allowing him to prop himself up as the candidate. Then once everyone was focused on him, they were going to let him get past midterms, and then they were going to throw all the skeletons out there for everyone to see, and then that is going to be how they would convince Colorado. That's why another Democrat won governor, because there's no way anyone could have voted for him now knowing all of this stuff. So they had it in their back pocket, and unfortunately for them, we fired a little bit early on it and exposed him much, much earlier than they expected and that they wanted. And so now it's basically Barb and Scott. And if anyone does vote for Victor, everyone will know it's totally rigged, completely rigged. So now it's up to the two real candidates to actually put on a good ground game and let everyone see who they really are and choose who would be best for that job. And it's very possible we may have a fair election. We don't know what's going to happen here. And so if we have a fair election, we might end up with a Republican governor. So no one needs to be given up at this moment. This is when we actually shift into the next gear and step on the accelerator here.
So I would agree. I would agree with what he's saying.
I have no pushback.
Yeah. But I think this is the part that just my biggest part of trepidation is that you said we might have a free and fair election. Short of getting rid of mail-in ballots, this whole idea that we can create some sort of, here's our biggest problem. You ready? There is no chain of custody, and they literally have had no accountability or consequences for bad behavior. So even if they say, all right, Mr. President, you have an executive order out there that says we have to have fully trackable ballots, it doesn't mean that they're going to be fully trackable ballots. Does that make sense?
No, they're going to cheat. They're going to cheat every which way they can.
Both
What we're going to have to do is we have to outvote the cheat. We got to make it too big to rig. And we have to, basically what that means is we got to make the illusion too big to pull off. And we can do that. No one can stop us, but we have to have a ground game. If we don't have a ground game, then the illusion they put up is going to be what sticks with people.
All right, so let's say that you're right. Let's say what you're saying is right.
I'm always right.
Spanberger.
You know that about me. Come on.
Spanberger. CIA becomes the governor of Virginia against a black woman and wins handedly. So the people of Virginia would rather have a CIA agent than a community leader that has served the people honorably for decades. They stole that election
that
so
election
badly.
was rigged.
Oh,
Yeah.
And all the down ballot elections were rigged.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what happens if we don't fix elections. This is what we're going to see. This is our future.
They could see it.
Of course.
I mean, it doesn't even make sense to me.
But you're never going to do it until you get rid of mail-in ballot. I mean, mail-in ballot.
Mail-in ballots.
Go
Early
back
voting.
to Colorado. Go back to
Early
Colorado.
voting and mail-in ballots. Got to go.
Got to go. Go into mail-in ballots when they start in Colorado, and look what's happened since mail-in ballots.
Of course. And you have to
Show
go
me.
you got to go hand count as well, because they are absolutely manipulating the votes. There's vote flipping going on inside the machines, and I don't give an F what people think. I have the proof. We have the proof. So it's not up for debate. It's not up, show me the evidence. We got all the evidence. We got plenty of it. And anyone that truly doesn't think it's happening, please, by all means, feel free to reach out and I'll walk you right through it. Anyone with a couple brain cells, once you know how to look at it, you can see it. So we know what they're doing. Mail-in ballots, early voting, and manipulating in the machine. Of course, election night reporting is the last step. But we can fix the election night reporting part. Real easy. Citizens, go out to your counties and get the results after every election. Get them yourself and add them up, because chances are when you add them up, they're not going to match what the state tells you the aggregate result is. That's a really simple one.
What was the difference at the assembly in vote count? Was it 80, Joe? At the assembly, was it 80?
For what?
The tally, the amount of votes versus the amount of people. there was a significant difference. Wasn't it 80?
No, there was 163 people that were there, right? I think, or 100, and there was 225 or 235 proxies.
No, I'm talking about the assembly. The state assembly.
vote.
When we were at the assembly, there was the number 80 stands out in my head 100%. They were off by 80.
Yes.
Because they said, we want to film the room.
And if you would have taken those away from Mark's, he wouldn't have qualified.
He wouldn't have. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the assembly, where they could have
it's all rigged.
they could have counted in front of everybody, and they said they put a resolution or something that said we're not going to film it and you can't watch it, but we're going to take it up here in the room. And they came back and there was a difference of 80. That's out of 2,000.
I'm shocked.
All right, hold on.
I'm shocked.
So let's fast forward. The head teller person at the state chair deal kicked my observer out from observing.
Oh, from up top?
Yeah. Yeah, kicked him out. Perfectly good system.
Hey, they've been doing this for a long time. They've nearly perfected it. And I don't know if you noticed what I threw out last night at about midnight, but it's going to piss off a whole lot of people because I put their playbook out. If you haven't seen it yet, you probably need to check out my X or go to handcountroadshow.org and go to Get Educated and then Cabal Tactics. So I published it. It's rocking pretty good. I'm almost at 250,000 views since this morning.
All right.
And it's pretty serious. And people are going to be those that have been manipulating our elections.
Find it on X, please, and put it up.
All
right. Yeah. So let's. I want to go through some of the things that and Mark, how much time do we have you for?
Well, I'm supposed to be somewhere. It's going to take me an hour to get there. I was supposed to be there 30 minutes ago, but all right, I'm okay.
Well, yeah, I want to keep you on for a few more minutes so I can go through some stuff. Can you go up on the block, please? Yeah, there you go. Now, skip past the Kash Patel's girlfriend deal. Keep going up. That's the federal judge.
I can shoot you a link if you want.
Yeah, can you send it to me?
Yeah,
but I want to play this. Why don't you send it over to me right now? I'll send it to them. I want to.
It's in the chat.
So one of the issues that I have is that no one is held accountable inside the government.
Correct.
And I'm going to do this whole model. I have a whiteboard. Guys, I'm going to take everybody to school today. We're going to go to school, right? You've seen me do this, right?
I'm putting a seatbelt on.
This is a senior CIA officer, okay, making $120,000 a year, $150,000 a year, right?
Sent.
I'm going to let you guys see this video really quick, and then we're going to come back to Mark's deal. I mean, see this. Just check out this video. This is cut 5. Let's put this up there. This is a CIA, $150,000 a year. Play it.
A former CIA senior officer is accused of secretly stashing 300 gold bars in his house that he brushed off as work-related expenses, according to court documents, and 2 people familiar with his employment history. Julia Ainsley is joining us now at this exclusive reporting. Sorry, Julia. What?
I know. Hallie, when I first heard this tip, I didn't think it was real. And then the court documents spelled out that there was a man who was an employee of a government agency that was found with $40 million worth of gold bars in his home. If you're wondering how many gold bars that is, the court document says it's about 308. What my team here at NBC News, Dan DeLuce and Gary Grumbach and I found is that that man was not just an employee of any agency. He was a high-level official with top secret clearance in the CIA, and that he not only lied about what he was doing with this money, but that allegedly he also lied about his background, said that he graduated from a college he did not attend, that he went to a graduate school he did not attend, and that he had a pilot's license that the FAA said he did not have. So he was arrested last week, and he is now in detention facing these charges of lying about his background and perhaps knowingly embezzling American taxpayers' money. I want to read you a statement we just got in from the CIA saying that after a CIA internal investigation identified potential violations of the law, CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred the information to the FBI for a law enforcement investigation. The FBI is working closely with our partners at the CIA and the Department of Justice as we continue to investigate this matter fully. So, Hallie, we will be staying on this, but what this looks like is that this was someone who was given currency. He was even paid in cash and watches that he said needed to be used in order to pay for operations that he was in charge of. But rather than keeping it in his office, they found $40 million worth of this gold, as well as $2 million in cash and 35 luxury watches in his home. So we'll bring you more as we learn it.
Did he also admit to cutting a cat's head off at like 4 years old?
$40 million in gold bars.
How does one ascertain a gold bar?
That's easy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Super easy, actually.
Above my pay grade.
Did he get $40 million of gold bars, though?
Making 150 grand a year. So the CIA
I
said they
bet
referred
being
it
a
to the
CIA
FBI.
agent might have helped. Maybe.
You see what I mean? The CIA agent, and then he didn't go to a school, then he went to another school, and then you see what's happening here?
Of course.
And then the CIA basically disavows him and says that they're not his guy, and they send it to the FBI to investigate.
Think he just goes away?
Huh?
Magically just goes away?
Yeah.
Like everything else?
It's just, it doesn't
Don't
make
worry,
any
that money
sense
came
to
from
me.
you, Joe.
Huh?
Of course it does. It's rigged. Criminals have taken over our nation by subverting our election system. They took over our elections years ago, sold us stuff under the false pretenses. People bought it under thinking it would be convenient, and they were able to manipulate the results, and they've embedded themselves in every aspect of our society. And of course, our intelligence agencies are, of course, the ones behind all of this. It's rotten, the whole thing.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, coming from a law enforcement background, anytime I hear corruption within the
But it's not corruption. This is normal.
It's not normal.
I would push back. I don't think this is normal. I think these are anomalies and they're isolated. Is it a continual thing? Yeah, but it's to me it's one-offs all the time. They keep manifesting and growing, and that's why it's going to be covered, because the first thing I thought of was Epstein. I can't stand when a law enforcement agent, officer, PD, SWAT, I don't care who they are, city, county, state, federal, when they abuse the color of authority, kind of like Pelosi does with her investment capital on her $175 a year or whatever she makes, and she's worth,
$400 million.
Yeah. It beyond infuriates me. I have said, Mark, I mean, we don't know each other, but about every other day on our podcast, I said, I'll tell you what will turn around our criminal justice system. Feckless leaders that we have in the DA's office and judges that are just giving high fives to pedophiles going out the door. We need to pass law in every state that judges can be held to account, punitive damages to victims' families. You hand slap a guy, he goes out the door, commits another crime, that family becomes a victim, that judge can be sued for $1 million. Immediately.
How are you going to pass a law?
Civil
How are you going to pass a
All right. So
with an election system that we don't have control of? This is the
I understand
problem.
that, but I'm trying to give an answer to something, because to me, once the judges are held to account, then the criminals have been held to account. Because a judge, I remember in Colorado when they passed the law, and I'm glad they did. They said, hey, look, cops do not have immunity. If they do something wrong, be violated, they can go to jail. Absolutely, they should. So should judges.
Okay, so check this out. Mark, I got to keep you for another 15 minutes while I do this diagram. You got to stay with me. Can you?
All right.
10 minutes? 15 minutes?
Yeah.
I just want you to see it so you can see how my brain works, right?
I know how your brain works.
I'll rush through it, but I want you to understand why the people in this country, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what party you're in, that you're absolutely right now a slave. And that the system right now, that 40 bars, by the way, or $40 million in bars, I'm going to tell you why it's not anomalous. Getting $40 million in gold, you're on a list right when you get to about 1.5 million, right? There are requirements for how much gold you can actually hold, right? They know. You don't get to a place where you have $40 million in gold in big bars.
Well, that was my question. How do you get that?
Well, you can go to a smelter, a gold smelter, and buy a bar.
No, I understand the investment side. I'm saying, how do you get to that level? That I
$40 million level.
You don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You do not get $40 million in gold unless you are connected to the CIA.
Do you know what KYE means?
Would you just
KYE?
KYE. Know your enemy.
Yeah.
Okay? Our enemy are a bunch of criminals that took over all these aspects of our government and took over these intelligence agencies. They're all criminals. It's not people that don't have the right understanding. It's not people we can explain a better way. This is like trying to argue with the criminal that's broke into your house and is stealing your TV off your mantle. You're like, excuse me, sir, you seem to be stealing my TV. Turns out the criminal doesn't give a crap. Excuse me, sir, but look at these laws you're breaking right now. The criminal doesn't give a crap. Excuse me, sir, I have data that shows that you've been stealing my TV. Criminal doesn't care. Excuse me, sir. Criminal's going to take the TV no matter what. They're already in on the inside. The only way we stop them is by taking over our elections. That's it. There's no other way.
But
we
you
can't convince them.
Yeah, so the answer to that question is yeah, what you said is right. But I also believe that frankly, it might be too late. And I'm going to show you why. That's why I want to show you this diagram.
No, I'm not saying it's not too late. I mean, literally, I think we're going to have to take our elections back, period.
And I think there's going to be more than just elections we have to take back. I think that the people that are in position are, okay, we start with elections. And I'm not advocating for violence either. That's not what I'm showing. But what I'm going to show you is that if you go back in history, just look in the rearview mirror for just a snapshot of a second, will give you an idea of where we are today and why we're there, right? And if I could show you that, you'll go, oh my gosh. And everyone that I've ever shown this to goes, oh, that's true.
Am I going to be looking at a crown?
Yeah.
Well, let's get on it.
Let's get on it. All right, quick commercial break. Go to commercial break. When we come back, you'll be looking at a whiteboard, and I'm going to take you to school, Mark.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Oh, our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
In a democracy, if a majority should develop hatred for all blue-eyed babies and order them eliminated, the babies could be legally executed because whatever a majority wants at any given moment is supreme law of the land in a democracy. How can liberty be safeguarded against the mindless, soulless tyranny of majority rule when government is founded on the principle of majority rule? Jefferson answered that one, in questions of power let no more be heard of confidence in man, but bind him down from mischief by the chains of the Constitution. In short, America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic, for which our flag stands, not to a democracy. The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. The Constitution is a binding contract.
Now, I put this up a little bit ago, is that in 1645 with the Magna Carta, it dictated that this happened, that the king now were with the people, and that the line, can you get me a little higher on this so people can see what I'm doing here? Can you go up? Okay, so what I did is I took the line for the law and I moved it above the king. That's where you get the saying that nothing is above the law, right? Now, so that happened in 1645. It established some rules because the noblemen were upset over the fact that the king could act with impunity and do whatever he wanted, and that there were no sorts of checks and balances. So the words checks and balances came in the late 1600s. Okay, they wanted to make sure that different people in different positions were held accountable. It created what is known as the redress of grievances. Okay? Fast forward. Okay. Instead of having a king, Instead of having a king, I'm going to replace something for you real quick, even though they say that we have a king. So in the United States, they wrote the Constitution. The Constitution was, what's that? Okay. We had the executive branch, right? The judicial branch, and we had the legislative branch, right?
Yep.
And still, nobody is above the law, right? Is that a true statement? And the way that the Constitution was written, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, everything shows that no one is above the law. Correct?
Okay.
And the people are down here, right, just below it, and this is representative government. So the people then elect, either by directly or indirectly, elect the people that are in these positions. The executive branch appoints the judiciary, and you can look at this as two, that you have the federal government, and then below it you have all the different pieces and parts, which are all the state governments. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody follow me? Give me comments over here just so I can understand what people are saying. Or can you give me comments on the board, please? Okay. This is how the system was designed to be. Now, something interesting happened right around the turn of the century for the 19th century, right? And you get into like 1910, 1911, 1912. What happened? They started to do this thing called immunity. I spelled that wrong? It's one M, right? Immunity. Right? 2 or 1? Is it 1 or 2?
Oh.
I thought it was 2. I was right the first time.
All
right. So you got this immunity. Is the executive branch immune from prosecution for the most part? Do they have qualified immunity?
Supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have immunity. Does the judiciary have immunity? Judges have immunity. Yeah.
Yep.
So they got immunity. And the legislators, do they have immunity?
Yep.
Are you allowed to inside trademark?
No, I'm not allowed to, but I'm just a peasant.
Are they allowed to inside trade?
Oh, they they always do. Yeah, of course.
All right.
Not every one of them, but yes.
All right. And the people are supposed to elect these. So the only way you get to a place where the system does not work is when it's not for, and by the people, right? That means the people are not representative of the people in these positions. Now, it has to happen over time. It's not a mistake that they said, we can fix some elections and get some stuff done, move a little bit of the sauce around, right? But here's what happens when you create immunity. What else did we create immunity to? Who else is immune? Is pharma immune?
Mm-hmm.
So big pharma is immune. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pseudo-government agencies.
Yep.
SGAs.
The unelected branch, yes.
So do they have immunity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does defense contractors?
Everyone's got immunity except for the peasants, yes.
All right.
Yep.
Does the media have immunity
Of course.
Okay, when did the media get immunity?
Well, they've probably always had it, but it went really crazy at the Smith-Mundt Act.
Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012 happened during Obama's term,
years. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you have the media that now can lie to the people. The government can actually dictate
Legally,
those lies
like-
legally.
Yes, legally,
Right.
fully legally allowed
Okay.
to lie, cleared to lie legally. Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
Defense contractors, have qualified immunity,
of course.
They do.
right? All right, I'm gonna do something here really quick. This is kind of good here. So this is the cops. Do they have immunity?
Depends on the state.
Yep.
We're not there yet. From a federal side, do they have immunity?
Yes.
They do. They have immunity, right? Now you have to commit a crime. You have to commit murder. But you could do anything you want to the people, and in large part, they have to rely on the judiciary who has immunity, so they have immunity, right?
Yep.
Now the people are right in the middle of this. This is the law. Everything's below it. All these organizations have immunity, right? Who doesn't have immunity?
The peasants.
People. People don't have immunity. So here's what happened. And this is where we get in some really big trouble. 1645, we had the Magna Carta. In the 1900s, we started exploring the idea that governments needed to be able to operate because it was complicated. So the slippery slope is the further we got down the line, the less the people should know. Everything got this classifications. You had classified. Everything became classified. You could argue this happened during World War I and World War II. So then they drew a line and they said, okay, the line is now right there. Here's law. And the person that doesn't have immunity is the people. Now they get to dictate who joins all of these different things. Now let's add in tech companies. Are they above the law?
Yep.
How about elitists? What did Jeffrey Epstein do?
Of course.
Did Jeffrey
Jeffrey
have-
Epstein
did
took
he
care
have-
of getting
did he have
blackmail material
immunity?
on the politicians. Yeah.
Okay. How about producers and guys in Hollywood? What about Weinstein?
Yeah, did he took care of getting all the blackmail material on Hollywood and using them as an influence arm? Absolutely.
Above the law, though, right? 25 years above the law?
Of course. They work for those in true power. So yeah, of course.
Okay. So this is the executive branch, which is immune, the judiciary, which is judges, and then the legislature is they're all immune from prosecution.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
Because they're doing their job, right? So the judges are up here, tech companies up here, farmers come, elitist media, defense contractors, Weinstein, cops, SGAs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then who actually bears the burden?
Well, of course we do, and we rely on our elections to determine who's in government, which is the one that can actually control those other unelected branches. And because the elections have been taken from us, the system of measurement is broken, and they have control of it. So we have no control. That's our only mechanism of nonviolent control is elections.
Okay, so where are the elections in all of this?
Right above between the people, the peasants, and everything else.
Okay, let's talk about Chud for a second. So Chud, the guy that shot the kid that ran around using the N-word, highly offensive, right? Terrible. $1.25 million. Didn't kill anyone, just shot the guy in the stomach. $1.25 million bail. What about the other guy down in Texas that in cold blood just literally plunged a knife into a guy's chest and killed him? What was his bail?
I don't even know.
Wasn't it
It
10,000?
was $250,000.
Was it?
Yeah. So 1.25 million. Now, did anyone down in Texas, DA, this is a Republican area, by the way. So there's a reason why I'm getting to this, because I want people to.
Republican area.
What's that?
It's a fake Republican area.
Well, what I'm trying to show you is if here's the road, right? And you have to pick your road. Here's one, this is the R road and this is the D road. Okay? The Republican area gave him what? $250,000 bail. Right? For a murderer.
It's a fake R. It's a fake R. It's the same road.
My point is, now I start doing this. So lawyers, this is a criminal organization now.
Yeah, they took over.
Right?
They did a good job.
It's a fraternity. It's a fraternity of everyone up here. Who gets put in prison?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. The people.
So where, if you were reading the Declaration of Independence, what does it say in the first paragraph? Anybody want to tell me what the first paragraph is?
Sorry, I was singing Schoolhouse Rock in my head.
Yeah. And it really just gets down to the point where it's the second paragraph actually, but at what point that the state or the government stops working for the people, it is our obligation, not our right, to throw them out. Right?
Yep.
The judiciary, how many lives are lost there? How many people are persecuted by judges, or judges say, you know, you're in contempt of court, or I'm going to fine you, or I'm going to take away your child, or I'm going to... How many times does that happen in each state across the country every day?
It happens all over, all the time. And the only way we fix it non-violently is to reclaim our elections.
What's our recourse against judges right now?
We have none until we reclaim our elections.
They could take away your attorney. They could strip you of the ability to have a defense, like they did to Tina Peters.
Yep.
They can say that you don't have standing, like they did in a majority of the cases in 2020, 2022, 2024.
Yeah.
They can silence their critics, and you're not allowed, if you're an attorney, are you allowed to talk badly about the judge?
No, unless you want to be held in contempt.
If you talk badly about the judge, they can strip you of your law license in all 50 states.
Yes, the criminal is taking our TV. We get it. Yeah. These aren't politicians that became criminals and decided we're going to create a fraternity. These are criminals that decided they're going to take over this country. They took over the election system to then insert themselves everywhere. They're criminals. All of them. It's a criminal organization. The whole thing.
So now that you can see it, you can see right now the executive branch has absolute immunity. The judiciary can do whatever they want. The legislative. Now, who is it that can throw the judges out?
Pretty much at this point, no one.
No, you have recourse. I'm going to prove a point here. Where is the line of law? It's down here, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the line of law. Now, what do they always tell you in the media? No one is what?
Above the law. Yeah.
No one is above the law. But they're talking about it in superlatives because they're all above the law.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way in their checks and balances that they have is that the legislature can impeach the judiciary. But they're all part of the same club, and the people are down here.
Because we control the legislature with our election system we don't have control of.
So let me just tell you why they hate President Trump. President Trump is like, listen, this is bullshit. You see this line right here, this law line? It needs to go back up here above the area. We need to give people the ability to throw out judges. But in order to actually get this system to be so rock solid that there's nothing you could do about it, they had to eliminate immunity for police officers so that it looked like they were getting rid of immunity. Dead soldiers. They basically sacrificed one of their own, right? And then gave the mandate to the cops, don't do anything to put you in danger. Now, Gonzalez v. Casarac states that you are not responsible for the health or well-being of the people in your community. It is not your obligation to protect them. Go look it up, Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. That's why I said it depends on the state.
So the cops are now down here with us. President Trump talks very, very well about the cops, doesn't he? You know why? Because they're part of our tribe, the people tribe. Look at everything else that's left up here unchecked.
Yep.
And what happens when one of the legislatures that's good friends with the executive in the state of Colorado, what's a Sonia, whatever her name is, the legislator, she got charged with 6 counts, 6 felonies, but she's in the same deal, and he did what? She got what? What did the judiciary do for her?
Hand slap.
She got probation. No jail time. Another one got 100 hours of community service. Where's Tina? Department of Corrections. How about the people that are there? Tina talks about the atrocities that are happening in the Department of Corrections. You think that's the first time that when Tina got there, that's when it started?
Not at all. It's been going on for a long time, and it's got worse and worse. And just like our election system is a business, so are our prisons.
Here you go. Ready? See that line? That's called the slave line. It's not called the live line, the law line. It's called the slave line.
Yep.
Every state and the federal government have immunity. You can't sue the state unless you ask permission. Patrick, can they hear you?
I can't hear him.
Patrick, did you have to sue the state of Colorado?
No, I didn't.
You had to sue a school district.
Yes.
Did you have to ask permission to sue that school district?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We did, but after we filed paperwork, we decided to go a different route through the EEOC. But it was recommended, but after we filed, we decided not to.
But in order to actually sue them in the capacity, you had to ask permission in certain capacities to sue them, because they have immunity too, right?
Yes, I have to ask the courts for permission. The court still has to give me permission to sue them.
So the Department of Education's up here, right?
Yes.
Do you start seeing what is above the line? What else is above the line?
Illegal immigration.
Do illegals have to do anything in order to get benefits? Anything.
Yeah, come to the country.
Yet, do you have to beg for it, or they just give it to you?
No, you just have to show up.
All right, how about if you're an American citizen?
Oh, you got to beg.
You see what I mean? It's not difficult to see that you have a slave line, and that the people are down here, cops are now relegated down here. They made sure they did that with George Floyd. And they lied and said they kneeled on his neck for 9 minutes. And then you see the video and you know that's a complete lie. But they went right back to the lie after people forgot about the video. He didn't kneel on his neck for 9 minutes. It never happened. But they used that for a basis for a secondary civil rights violation. So how do the people survive when 56 cents on every dollar gets taken from them? Everyone above the line gets qualified immunity. CIA agents get to run around, do whatever they want. Surrogate government agencies, they get to sue us for defamation after making comments that, hey, don't worry about it, Trump's not going to win, I made effing sure of it. All of them get above the line. And no matter what evidence they have, all they have to do is say, there was no evidence, because guess who's above the line? Now, how do you feel?
Same way I did 2 weeks ago when you showed it to me.
This, by the way, is the U.S. system. It's not constitutional. It has nothing to do with the Constitution. This has nothing to do with the Bill of Rights. Matter of fact, the Bill of Rights exists above the line of the law. It only exists for these people. They're the only people that get to take. We get nothing. By the way, there's different levels of this, but the people are constantly trying to figure out how they get above that law line so that they can have immunity, so they can do whatever they want. They can act whatever way they want. And even well, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
We don't have self-governance. It's all about bottom up. It's all about local self-governance. That's how we do it. There is no other way. The whole top part is totally corrupt. It's not coming back. I hate to tell everyone, it's just not going to happen. So we are going to have to fix things on a local level. We are going to have to demand, we're going to have to create fair elections. No matter what anyone says, if we have to run elections ourselves, we're going to have to run our elections ourselves. I'm really sorry. I wish I had better news for everyone, but there's a reason. I already went through all this calculation. I did this years ago. I knew exactly where we were going. So I jumped way ahead. That's why I started Hand Count Roadshow, because I knew the people had to be taught how to measure their will so they could choose their local leadership. That's the only way it's going to happen. Unless some miracle happens up top, which I'm sorry, I just don't see happening. We are on our own. So start practicing hand counting your ballots, because we're going to be doing it here probably sooner than you think.
How in the world do you exist in a system where the law sits below them and the have-nots feed them?
We stop feeding.
And listen. This is the most important part about this entire model. This is the most important part. If I were to sit you down, Micah, if I were to sit you down right now and put one rock on your chest, and then I put one more rock on your chest, and one more rock on your chest, and the reason why I'm saying this is this one more dollar has to go here. We're $39 trillion in debt right now because these are the only people that eat. Now keep in mind, your politicians are worth 40, 50, $500 million on a $160,000 salary. You have a CIA agent that has $40 million in gold bars in his house with $2 million in cash and more gold watches and things than you could count a stick at. And he didn't get that by himself. He did it because there was no rules for him. The rule of law is below him. He can act and do whatever he wants. They can lie about whatever they want. They can build election systems. And by the way, the elections are up here too. Let's just put that right here at the very top. Elections. Yep. Elections right in the middle of it. Elections are above the law. And here's another thing. If you want to have an honest election, you don't get to have it because they're taking away and saying there is no transparent process. That's the reality. That's where
elections belong to us. They're running the elections. They stole them from us.
So then we'll ask the question again. In a system like this, what does the Declaration of Independence say must be done?
Tyranny.
When
Abolish.
tyranny takes over.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is where we're at. You want to know why people hate me on the left and the right? It's because I'm stopping them from eating. You want to know why the state chair position, they didn't want me having it? You want to know why Boebert got on to Kyle Clark's show and defamed me and made up some story? It's right here. Mm-hmm. The haves and the have-nots. But here's what's happened, Micah. I put so many stones on your chest that now there's nothing left. There's no air in your lungs. And you're gasping for air, trying to figure a way out. And now your kids don't even have opportunity. They don't even have a pathway to give above the line of slavery. They don't even have a pathway. There's no pathway to get there. And there's no other example that I can give you than this. The haves and the have-nots.
Dude, there's a path. Run our own elections locally. That's it.
The only way it happens is when all of this line goes back up here. And the criminality starts to be blind.
But all that stuff up there, all that relies on us. It all sits on top of us. We are that foundation. And as soon as we're done, that falls. And I don't know about you. I think you're probably pretty close to done. I'm done.
We should all be done.
We need to be.
We should all
Because
be
that's the only
done.
time it changes.
And I think the brightest idea that I've heard stated so far, the brightest idea, was we had to ask permission of a Democrat to get Tina Peters out of prison. We had to ask permission. How does it make you feel? You say, I'm a slave. Tina Peters is in jail down here. The friend gets off because the system is not designed. There's a state of lawlessness for all these people. And there's so many people up here that they're making so much money on the American people that the American people now have become slaves even to people from foreign nations. They become slaves to Big Pharma. You must put all this stuff in your body. They become slaves to your Second Amendment doesn't exist because the elections stole it. So now they're just doing the biddings of everyone here that says we strip the plebes of their ability. And here's the worst part about this model. You see these criminals up here that are above the law? They go and they feed them down into the people so they can go and return and do more crimes to the people to create more chaos. We are in a state of constant and perpetual betrayal. And there's not much left. There's no meat left on the bone.
It ain't gonna last. No, it's about to crash, the whole thing. Yeah. And when it does, we got to be able to run our own elections.
When you see it this way, though, Mark, it becomes obvious, doesn't it?
Yeah. I saw this years ago. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. A lot of people are like, why would you practice hand counting paper ballots? Paper ballots, hand count paper ballots aren't allowed. I'm like, yeah, you're stuck way back over here. I see exactly where this is going. I know ultimately where we're going to end up and what we're going to need to do. And I wish it wasn't that case, but that's what it is. I just don't see, there is no way out of this until the people run their own elections. It'll never stop. And the only time that these guys are going to give up is when they realize they have no out. When they realize the people are going to be done and they lose control of their little peasants, their slaves, then they're going to start to get scared. But if they don't fear the slaves, then they're not going to stop. So at some point, the slaves need to open their eyes up. They got to decide they don't want to be slaves anymore. And they have to do, ideally, the peaceful way to not be a slave anymore. And I know there are some out there that are waiting for the not peaceful way. And I think you're cowards. Because if you won't lift a finger to do it the peaceful way, and you're just ready for the non-peaceful way, then you're going to cause a lot of people to get hurt. And we don't have to do that. So I hope everyone does what needs to be done to take peaceful action right now, and we can redirect this ship. We don't have to hit the iceberg.
The more you see this, Mark, and I'll let you go after this, but the more you see this, Mike, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, the worse it becomes for anybody. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent. You are secondary to the rights of others, which means the exact same thing that we did to slaves that caused the Civil War, right? Or caused the Revolutionary War is the same thing we're allowing to be done to us right now. There's no difference. We were ruled over and we were treated as slaves, and we are ruled over and we are treated today like slaves, and they all get away with it. And in order to actually, Patrick, how much did your legal fees cost if you were to do it yourself in that lawsuit? Do you have $1 million? Say it again.
Over $1 million.
Over $1 million. Do you have $1 million?
No, I do not.
So how would you have gotten justice if you didn't have somebody step in and pick winners and losers?
I wouldn't know. I would have to do it some other way, not through the courts. I would have to do it my own way.
So Patrick won because he won the lottery. He had an organization that looks out for people whose rights have been violated, and they said, okay, we'll pick your case. But how many other cases and people get destroyed before that ever happens?
Most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah.
And most people, by the way, stay away from this because they don't want to become Tina. They don't want to become Joe. They don't want to become the cop that just got thrown in jail. And everybody wants to run around saying they're too scared. because they are.
And that's by design.
Slaves.
That's how you keep them slaves. You keep them too scared to fight. When we have to realize is we far outnumber those that are enslaving us. And when we're done, we're done. And I just, how much longer do people want to put up with this? Like, how much more pain and suffering are people willing to go through until they realize that they're done? Guys, just decide you're done. It's so freeing when you're done.
But here's the problem. They're looking for leaders. They're looking for people. This is why Boebert did what she did. This is why Kyle Clark does what he does. Because where are those people on this deal? Where do they see me?
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, Mike.
Mark, you ever seen the movie Ants? The
No.
cartoon?
No.
There's a scene in there, so the grasshoppers control the ants. It's a cute little kid's movie, but it's a pretty powerful scene. The grasshoppers say, we have to be careful because if they ever figure out how many of them there are and how many of us there are, so think the 535 versus 350 million, he goes, we're in trouble. And it's a great scene. It's a great takeaway from a cartoon because it's really true.
That's where we're at right now. So what we have to do is we got to educate people so they know both sides. We got to educate, but we got to get the people to stop being scared of the big scary monster up there, because when we're all done together, they got nothing on us. They got zero zilch. And they've built the whole thing's an illusion. It's an illusion of control. And we're allowing them. Their power is our blind compliance. That's it. Their power is our fear.
Are the military above or below the line?
Above.
No.
It's a good question.
No, they're not.
They're not supposed to be above, but they are above.
No, they're not. They're down here. They can persecute anyone in the military for any reason. They can court-martial them. They can do whatever they want. They can falsify a record.
No, I'm talking about the military leadership. I'm talking about
I'm talking about the people.
Okay, if you're talking about the people, yes. The slaves, yes. Yeah, the slaves, the slave part of the military is below with us. Yeah.
And here's how we know what I'm saying is true. How do we treat veterans?
Yeah, exactly. That's all you have to look at.
They weren't invited into
They
the club.
throw them away like they're garbage.
And by the way, if you go back in time, what were slaves required to do? Fight for these people.
Yeah.
Now, how does it make you feel? How does it make anybody feel that's looking at this right now?
I'm pissed.
This is really what's happening to our people. You're talking about the people of Colorado? People like Victor Marx can survive. People like Polis and these guys can to destroy with impunity because they have no standard by which they're held.
That's correct.
None. Because they're above the line. And it doesn't matter. The law only applies. You know why they picked the 1512 law, which was the law for Enron? It basically was that you obstruction of justice from getting access to, it was supposed to be for files. They used the 1512 law to go after J6ers because there was nothing that they had that would allow for them to go after the people for a constitutionally protected First Amendment right of redress of grievances. Nothing. So they had to make it up. And even when it was found to be unconstitutional, they kept those people in jail past the point that the Constitution stated. Why? Because they're still above the law. And enough people didn't scream and yell to get them out of prison. So they stayed there. Tina Peters was pardoned by the President of the United States, the most powerful office. There is huge precedent that goes back to 1812. That a presidential pardon has absolute ability to pardon for a state crime. It's a checks and balance. But what did they say? He didn't have the authority. The most powerful man in the world did not have the authority to free a 70-year-old Gold Star mom using pardoning powers by a state that captured her, abused her, and then ultimately decided, because they were above the law, all right, I've gotten enough of my pound of flesh, now I'll let you go. And still the election systems are shrouded. And they say it with the media, safest, most secure elections in U.S. history. And in order for the media to help elections, they said, hey, sue me, I'll give you a bunch of money. But it's all above the line, so it's all, guess what? They're all just in this club.
Yep.
They can do whatever they want. Mark, I appreciate you being with me. Thanks, bro.
Thank you. Joe, hang in there. You are good at educating people and getting them off their butt. So you keep doing what you're doing. God needed you in another location. That's all. He wanted you right where you're at.
Yeah.
God bless you.
God bless you, brother.
See you, dude.
See ya.
I don't know of a better way to look at it.
It's on point. I mean, it makes beyond perfect sense. I think it's what everybody's frustrated with. There's two things that I take from this. One, people will not get involved to change it because they feel helpless. They don't feel like there's anything they can do. They can't rally enough people together. And the second thing is as soon as they start, they get beat down. And so that's a wash, rinse, repeat cycle. That's my take.
So then how do we do this? How do we take it back?
I'm going to sit here and ponder on it. I think it's a great example.
I think you guys have to ponder on it too. I think at some point, you've got to decide that what's written on this board is either true or untrue. You get to decide. But keep in mind, they pushed President Trump where? He decided, President Trump decided to be with the people. He made a conscious decision that he was going to protect the people because he started tearing off the boxes. Big Pharma, what did he say about that? He's like, just, take some ivermectin. He's the one that forced all the different things that allowed for that to happen. He forced big tech to be honest. He talked about the elections. He got to the fact that we were hidden behind a shroud of pseudo-government agencies. He talked about the fact that illegals should not be taking and eating off the deal. He talked about elitists being above the law when he talked about Epstein. Way back in 2007, they knew they had a problem. He talked about the corrupt and crooked people like Pocahontas in the legislature. He talked about Green from Texas, who frankly got kicked out. He talked about the rotted judiciary. Why? Because what did it do to him? It let some crazy woman say that she was raped 30 years ago, but she couldn't remember where it was, what day it was, what year it was. She thought that rape was sexy, but guess what happened? He saw the underbelly of the judiciary. And then he went and said to the legislature, you got to do something about it. And what did they do? Can't do that. We're all above the line. See, he's trying to push this line up, which is why they're trying to assassinate President Trump. And the executive deal, the only way that all of this happened is right here in the middle. Elections. And now you want to know why they hate me? You want to know why they want to destroy me? You want to know why they're saying probable falsities? This is it. This is it. Because they're above the law. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. All right. You want to pray us out? I was going to do more stuff, and I was going to talk about where the Magna Carta came from, why it was introduced, when it was actually implemented, but I don't think it matters. I think what has to matter to you, though, is that this is the perfect model. If you ever share a podcast, share this one. Share this one. This is the most important thing, right here. This part right here, because I think I don't care if you're black, white, green, yellow, purple. If you're an American citizen, you are down here and illegals are up here. They can build mosques, they can build whatever the hell they want, and you have to finance it. $39 trillion in debt, elitists are up here making money on your back. They're putting millstones on your chest, and they're literally choking the life out of you. And your children, they have less life than you do. You at least were able to save something up before they actually put the millstone on it and just hope that you can survive, but you can't. There's too many people up here above the line of the law. And they're just basically abusing the people. There you go. You want to pray us out?
Yeah.
All right.
Father God, thank you for this time today with Joe. Certainly appreciate his insight, his wisdom, his fierceness, his ability to fight, his willingness to stand in the gap. There's few men like him. I'm grateful to be cut from a cloth like this where, quite frankly, scripturally speaking, we're called to stand in the face of evil. I believe this is exactly what this is. I've been saying it for a long, long time. Gloves have to come off. I believe prayer is of necessity. I believe forgiveness is absolute. But there's also a time to put on the armor of God, to stand in the gap, to face evil, stare it down, call it what it is. If we get to a point where we've got to get to that point, that's what we need to do. Father God, I ask that you watch over our country, watch over our troops on the front line, be with my baby girl in the Straits of Hormuz, and be with this man standing next to me as he continues on in this fight. Man, it's just, what a day it has been. Grateful for Tina Peters being released today. I'd ask that the American people understand what's really going on with that, and not just the heresy and the lunacy on the other side. I'd ask that you watch over all of us. In your son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Go over, give us a 5-star review. If I don't know if there's any other model you can look. You can get pissed off at my handwriting. I mean, I could do it in different colors if you want. So you have the well. But the system is not designed to help you. It's designed to hurt you. And the process is the punishment, just for you questioning it. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're getting a speeding ticket, question the process. It's designed to punish you. So go ahead and check it out. We are on Roku now, so let us know how that experience goes, whether or not you can find us. Susan Rice, good to see you. Again, if this is the line and we're down here, then we're the oppressed. It doesn't matter if you're black. See, they had to tell us a little bit of truth. And they tried to say that, oh, we're going to put black people above the line. They put the black criminals. And they called everyone else Uncle Tom. There's so much more complexity to how they develop this. You guys kill your babies. We're not killing our babies. These people are not killing their babies. They're having kids to be able to build another army to make that millstone on your chest get bigger. This is reality. Show me, if anyone, Joe at untamednation.com. Go ahead and send it to me. If there's any way you can disprove what I'm saying here, please do. Change my mind. I want you to change my mind. Good thing about not being the state chair, I can actually get back in the gym and have a good time. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, God bless you all. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fight where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the